Okay, uh, we will solve quadratic inequalities. At first, what is inequalities? Like x greater than 2, that means x is greater than 2. This is inequalities. Or if I write x less than 2, that means x less than 2. This type of term when you get in any equation or any quadratic term, this is quadratic inequalities. We have to solve these things. To solve quadratic inequalities, you need to solve quadratic equation at first. So quadratic means this equation must have power 2. At first, we have to solve this quadratic equation. And after that, sketch the corresponding quadratic function. We have to sketch this. And third number, use your sketch to find the required set of values. Okay. Uh, to solve quadratic inequality, you may have to rearrange it so that all the terms are on one side. Yes, when you solve quadratic inequalities, all the terms will be in one side. So what will you do? At first, we have to solve this equation, and after that, sketch this, and finally, we will find the set of values of x. Okay, now see, uh, this is our question. Find the set of values of x. We have to find out the set of values of x for which this is a quadratic inequality, x square minus 4x minus 5 less than 0, and draw a sketch to show this. Okay. So what they want actually? They want, this is a quadratic inequality, that means x square minus 4x minus 5 less than 0. If you sketch this curve will be U shape. This curve will be U shape. Why? Curve will be U shape because x square coefficient is positive. If x square coefficient is positive, curve will be always U shape. And curve less than 0, that means if it is x-axis, below the x-axis, which part of the curve we have, this part is less than x-axis, that means less than 0, that means negative. X-axis, under x-axis, the part of this curve, this part will be less than 0. That means we have to find out the value of x where this curve is less than 0, that means negative. From which value to which value the curve is negative, we have to find it. Is it okay? Tashfia, is it okay? Question. We have to find out the x value where the curve is under the x-axis. That means under the x-axis curve is less than 0. That means negative. So if this is the curve under the x-axis, if this part is under the x-axis, this part is less than 0. This part is less than 0, and this part is greater than 0. Upper side of this curve, like if I draw a curve, okay, if I draw a curve, like this is a curve, if this is a x-axis, under the x-axis, like this part is under the x-axis, this part is less than 0, that means negative part. And above side of the x-axis, like this part is above the x-axis, that is greater than 0. So what we want to find out, like this curve pass 1 and 3 point. So if I want to say what will be the less than 0, that means which curve is less than 0 for x greater than 1 and less than 0. Within this, like 1 to 3, curve is less than 0. Understand? But if I ask you find out the set of values of x where the curve is positive. Okay, now see, if positive, when x less than 1, when x proceed from 1 to left side, curve is positive. Or when x greater than 3, curve is again positive. Okay, when in any question they ask us curve is positive, find the set of values of x, we have to write in this way according to the curve. When in this curve they ask us where the curve is negative, we just write down these things. Okay, now exactly what happened we try to understand from this question. Now see, this is our question, x square minus 4x minus 5. What will you do? At first we have to solve this, x square minus 4x minus 5 less than 0. Now see, x square minus 4x minus 5 less than 0. This is our question. What they ask us, it means this curve is less than 0. Find the set of values of x where the curve is less than 0. So how can we find it? At first we have to solve this equation. So x square minus 4x minus 5, we have to write equals to 0. Then this is the equation. We have to solve it. Now how can we solve it? X square minus 5x plus x minus 5 equals to 0. Now take common x, it will be x minus 5 plus 1, x minus 5 equals to 0. So it will be x minus 5, x plus 1 equals to 0. After that, x equals to 5 or x equals to minus 1. So if we sketch this curve, the curve will be U-shaped. Why curve is U-shaped? Because we know that if x square coefficient is positive, curve will be U-shaped. In x-axis, curve passes through minus 1 and 5. Now, if we sketch this curve, the curve will be like this. This is our curve, like y equals to x square minus 4x minus 5. This is the curve. Okay, and I said below the x-axis, which part of the curve stay? This part is less than 0. That means this part is less than 0 part. This part is less than 0 part. And above the x-axis, which part of the curve we have? This part is above the that means positive. This part is negative curve. This part is negative because less than 0. But they want for what values of x curve is negative. You see, from x greater than minus 1, from here to here, curve is negative. From greater than minus 1 and less than 5, curve is negative. So we'll write the set of values x greater than minus 1, less than 5. Is it okay? Sakib, is it okay? Or you have confusion?
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
Okay, is
It's
it
okay.
okay? Tashfia, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Tazib, will I explain it again?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Try to understand at first this question. Here they gave us this question, x square minus 4x minus 5 less than 0. And they asked us, find the set of values of x for which this curve is less than 0. And I said less than 0 means which part of this curve? The curve, as it is U-shaped, the below the x-axis, which part of the curve we have? This is the less than 0 part. That means negative part. So how can we find out? What will we find? We will find for what values of what values curve is less than 0. So how can we do these things? At first, we have to solve this curve, solve this equation. So we do the factorization here. We get x value 5 and x value is minus 1. So this is minus 1, this is 5. So how I sketch this curve as a U-shape? Because I know x square coefficient is positive. That's why curve is U-shape, right? Okay, this curve is U-shape. Okay, so
Sir, if the same math, but the x square is negative, then
yeah, yes. That is, you asked me if it is x square minus like this, 4x minus 5, like this.
yes.
Okay, okay, I will explain this. If x square coefficient is negative, definitely curve will be capsule. I will show you. If x square coefficient is negative, everything will be same, but curve will be capsule. Okay, but okay, I will show you these things. So x square, if it is positive, curve is passes to minus 1 and 5. The below the x-axis is this part. This part is negative. So from x value minus 1 to 5, curve is negative. Tazib, is it okay now? Tazib?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I will show you another example. Okay, which question Ashfi asked me, I will show you like this. Okay, now another question like this one. Tashvia, see. 3 minus 5x minus 2x square less than 0. 3 minus 5x minus 2x square less than 0. Find the set of values of x for which, okay, I just write this question. Okay, 3 minus 5x minus 2x square less than 0. Okay, it's a very important x. So at first, what will we do? We will solve this. We just write 3 minus 5x minus 2x square equals to 0. After that, we will factorize these things and find out the value of x. Okay. So we get x value half and minus 3. So this is half and minus 3. And we know that x square coefficient, as it is negative, curve will be cap shape. X square coefficient, if we follow these things, curve will be cap shape. Okay. What they want? They want curve is less than 0. So which part of the curve is less than 0? You see, this part is less than 0. That means negative, less than 0. And this part also less than 0. That means if x value less than minus 3, this part is less than minus 3. That means it is minus 3, it is minus 4, minus 5. That means when x value less than minus 3, curve will be negative. When x value greater than half, that means when it is 1, curve is negative. When it is 2, curve is negative. So this indicate x greater than half, the curve is negative. Okay. Again, I
Sir, I
explain.
have a question.
Okay, ask me question. Okay.
So why isn't this part less than 0?
Oh, yes. You see, from minus 3 to 2, the curve is above the x-axis. That's why it is not the less than 0. Understand? From minus 3 to half. You see, I said curve above the x-axis. Which part of this curve is above the x-axis? This is positive. But here, minus 3 to half. The curve is above the x-axis. That's why it is not less than 0. It is greater than 0. Okay, Tashvia? This part is positive.
I didn't understand.
Okay, now see. Okay. Here I again explain here. Okay, the whole thing. We have to find out the set of values of x. Values of x for what? 3 for 3 minus 5x minus 2x square less than 0. Okay. So at first you will solve this. You have to write 3 minus, oh, it is 5x. 5x minus 2x square equals to 0. Okay. Remember, we try to follow this one. So it will be easy if we multiply both sides by minus. It will be 2x square plus 5x minus 3 equals to 0. We will do factorization. So middle term factor. It will be 6x minus x minus 3 equals to 0. Now taking common 2x, it will be x plus 3. If you take common minus, it will be x plus 3 equals to 0. So it will be x plus 3 and 2x minus 1 equals to 0. After that, x plus 3 equals to 0 or 2x minus 1 equals to 0. So from here, x equals to minus 3 and here x equals to half. These are the value where the curve passes through x-axis. And as the x-score coefficient is negative, curve will be cap shape. X-score coefficient is negative, curve will be cap shape. So curve passes through by minus 3 and half. Okay, the curve will be cap shape, curve will be like this. In the beginning of my class, I said above the x-axis, which part of the curve we have, this is positive part. So you see the curve above the x-axis, curve, this part is positive because this is above the x-axis. Tashvia, this part
Yes.
from here to here, curve is positive because it is above the x-axis, right? Understand?
Yes.
And from x value minus 3 to left side, infinity. That means x less than minus 3. What does it mean? from -3 to infinity, curve, this part is negative, this part is negative, right, Tashfiya?
Yes.
And x value half, x greater than half to infinity, that means from infinity curve is positive, sorry, curve is negative, this part is negative. X value started from half to infinity, x greater than half means what? X is 2, 3, 10, 100, whatever it is, the curve is negative. That means x greater than half. If you start from half to infinity, this part of this curve is negative. Now clear, Tashfiya? Hello?
Yes, sir. But doesn't that also mean this part is also negative?
Oh, no, no, no. This part, you see, this part is above the x-axis. This part, above. This is the x-axis. Above the x-axis, which part? From here to here, the above the x-axis. So this
I
is the
said this part, the y-axis is negative.
uh, here y-axis is negative, but we don't want the y value. We want above the x-axis, which part? Here is y positive. This is y. Things this is y. This is curve is positive. Okay. Above the x-axis, which part of the curve we have? This is the positive part. Now clear?
Yes.
Okay. So we will write what we want. We want the negative. So set of values of x. Set of values of x, x less than -3 or x greater than half. Wait just a minute. In different way. Now see, if the math like this is 3 minus 5x minus 2x square less than 0. Okay, if I want to make x square positive, so I have to multiply both sides by minus. So it will be 2x square plus 5x minus 3. And one thing you know, if you multiply by minus, the inequality sign will be changed. It was less than, so definitely it will be greater than. Is it okay? Right, Sakib? If
Yes,
you
sir.
if you multiply by minus, then inequality sign definitely change. So it was minus 2x square, now it will be plus 2x square plus 5x minus 3. So if we follow these things, at first we have to solve this. So 2x square plus 5x minus 3 equals to 0. So now factorize 2x square plus 6x minus x minus 3 equals to 0. Now taking common 2x, so it will be x plus 3. Take minus 1 common, so it will be x plus 3 equals to 0. So it will be x plus 3, 2x minus 1 equals to 0. After that, x plus 3 equals to 0, x equals to minus 3, or 2x minus 1 equals to 0, x equals to half. Okay, remember, we will follow this inequality, not that one, because we multiply by minus. Okay. Uh, so if we follow the second part, so your curve will be definitely U-shaped. So it is passes through -3 and half. Okay, now curve will be U-shaped. According to this graph, what we want? We want where the curve is positive. So curve is positive, that means above the axis curve is positive. So this part is positive, that part is positive. How we get these things? When x value less than -3, that means from -3 to infinity, when you proceed, curve is positive. So you have to write x less than -3, or -3 to half, curve is negative. You see, from -3 to half, curve is negative. We don't want these things. Or x greater than half. That means when you proceed from x value half greater than half, that means from half to infinity, curve is positive. Okay, now is it okay, Tashfiya, Sakib? You see, the compare the previous one, same result. Understand?
Yes.
Okay, if you follow these things, this curve will be U-shaped. What do you want? You want where the curve is positive. Curve is positive from -3 to infinity, curve is positive. Or x greater than half, from half to infinity, curve is positive. Understand?
So both answers are right.
Yeah, both answers are right. Yes, both answers are right. Because your final result will be this one. If you follow these things, your result is okay. If you follow this one, your result also okay. Okay. And another way, what Sakib asked me, if we just follow these things in another way, try to understand, like 3 minus 5x minus 2x square less than 0. So if we write minus 5x minus 2x square equals to 0, if we don't multiply by minus, like it is uh, like minus 2x square minus 5x plus 3 equals to 0. If we don't multiply by minus, so uh, like this minus 2x square minus 6x plus x plus 3. You see, factorization is okay. So now take common minus 2x common, so it will be x plus 3. Take 1 common, it will be x plus 3 equals to 0. So it will be x plus 3 minus 2x plus 1 equals to 0. Finally, it will be x equals to minus 3 and minus 2x equals to minus 1, x equals to half. So if we follow this inequality, curve will be cap shape. It will be passes to minus 3 and half. Curve will be cap shape. What we want? We want where the curve is less than 0. That means below the x-axis. We know from x less than minus 3. If we proceed from minus 3 to infinity, curve is negative. This part is negative that we want. And from x greater than half, curve is also negative. This part is negative. So set of values of x is set of values of x less than minus 3 or x greater than half. Okay. Like your max is minus x square plus 5x plus 6 less than 0. Uh, if you want to make x square positive, your equation will be x square minus 5x minus 6 and inequality will be changed. It was less than, it will be greater than. So if you follow these things, you have to sketch the cap shape curve and the curve will be less than 0. But if you follow these things after multiply, if you follow these things x square positive, this time it will be U-shaped curve definitely, and you have to search where curve is positive according to the inequality. If you follow these things, curve will be cap shape and you will search where the curve is less than 0 because here it is less than 0. But if you follow this curve, uh, definitely inequality change. That's time the curve will be positive. You will search where the curve is positive. I think everybody understand this, right?